15 elderly men.
Yeah.
The Asian kind.
And then them 15 elderly men flew off in their raincoats.
They had such lovely wings.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, look at this raincoat. Bam. These aren't raincoats. These are like bat wings.
My mind's like trying to process everything we said.
The thing is, I'm processing it just fine. Because I'm used to thinking like this.
Me, I'm like, what? Doom? I'm forgetting I'm playing Doom.
Oh shit, we're playing Doom.
What?
Dude, this is obviously Destiny. Dude, this reminds me of Destiny so much.
Oh yeah.
Like you fight things like this in Destiny. Like Destiny is just a bunch of Doom guys running around, basically.
I thought that was
not as badass.
I thought that was a bunch of Master Chiefs making out.
It's more like Leonardo DiCaprio playing Master Chief, and he's like, I only do that on the side.
Yeah.
I like cooking for Gordon's. That's his
Gordon.
name.
Yeah. Gordon's was a man who changed the world by storm.
Yeah, and Gordon Ramsay, he's just like, hey, I don't even care about food. I'm like, I want to ingest things through a pipe. And he did it. He's like, hey, I don't like taste. I like to flow through my veins in the elderly waste. And he's like, whoa, I feel good.
Yeah, and then he took out his flute and really just...
He started banging it, man.
I know. He sucked it up his nose.
Yeah. And
then inside of his nose was another world.
Yeah. Full of all that waste. He just loves sucking it up.
It was Hyrule. And Hyrule was filled with 5 elves that loved to pray.
Yeah, don't they pray to Hastur? King in Yellow, the masked one?
I thought so.
The patron of shepherds or something weird.
Yeah.
Who he's all like, hey, leave my planet of doom. Because obviously, like, I'm from DC and, like, where am I? I've been here for 30 years and
I do
lost.
love the DC when they go into the Legend of the Seven Stars.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. How'd you know?
Yeah, and then they're on an Echoes of an Elusive Age.
I thought there was Echoes of Illuviation. Yeah, Illuviation.
It was similar to that, but then it changed.
Isn't that the one where they found a donkey pinned up to a tree and he's like, spank me?
You know what? I think so.
And that's gotta be it. And he's like, hey, this ain't no tree. This is a hand. And then you're like, damn, that is a hand. It's like, hey, I'm gonna crush this donkey. But wait, that's not a donkey. That's an elderly like pug dog. Looks like a donkey. And he's like, bark, bark, I'm a llama. And then the hand just fucking bangs it out, like crushes it and throws it into the abyss.
Definitely.
Because that's what hands do. They crush things and throw them into the abyss. That's why we cut our hands off. With a soldering iron. Yeah, it was real slow. Burning.
I hate when slow goes fast. It's like, that's
I like
too
when
little
it goes
to process.
medium quick. That's a nice speed.
Oh, quick, that's the...
No, not quick, medium quick.
Oh, I thought you
It's
said...
in between slow and fast, but not as much as middle.
I thought you said Quake, which is actually a turn-based RPG game about cards. And then the cards paint other things.
Isn't it also about shaking that fat ass? The booty of cards.
I think I remember that. That was the best moment of the game.
That was the best. All that twerking and double twerk on a pole, but you're not twerking.
I think it even turned into a...
It's where you twerk your other side, or you just viciously bang your head against the wall.
I think
that's other twerk.
It even turned into a senti butt.
I remember senti butts.
Oh.
All metallic and shiny. They're like, hey, climb on in me. I'll bring you somewhere. And they're they trick you into grinding you up into a paste.
Yeah, I think I climbed into one of those and saw Gandalf.
And you didn't get turned into a slimy little paste?
I did.
Oh, Gandalf,
and I lived I lived in there for 54.6 years,
Remember when Gandalf went to Harry Potter and he's like, hey Harry, you're a tri-wizard master race.
I remember that scene.
I love that scene.
Dude, that scene made me dread to tears. Except I was bleeding.
I was so sad that Gandalf, the like 8 foot tall midget man, he's a really tall midget,
Yeah.
He was in the KKK. That made me cry so
Oh,
bad.
dude, I couldn't believe it.
And then Harry Potter's like, no, I don't want to be taken away.
I hate when she gets taken away and then turns into Popeye's chicken.
I know, but it's delicious.
Yeah.
Without that storybook, we would never have that delicious Popeye's chicken that you get at the KFC walk-through dinner at 5.
Yeah. I love
Man,
watching.
you just ripped her head off.
Yeah, I got her teeth out in her biscuit.
I like making necklaces with those.
Yeah.
Out of biscuit teeth. Gotta slather up those teeth.
Yeah.
You know how you open up a biscuit? Open up a biscuit.
yeah.
You know, open up the teeth like you open up a biscuit. Warm up some butter and slather it on there and then crunch away.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds. Since it's teeth, probably 40 seconds to soften it up. And then bam, you got yourself some tiny little biscuit treats.
I love whipping Cool Whip on there with my key.
Keys are a great source of Cool Whip.
Yeah, if you use a key that gets like maybe
30 dynamite potentials.
maybe
About, you think? Maybe 30 nuclear reactions.
around 30.
It can fit a whole lot of Cool Whip
Yeah.
with that much energy boost, you know? 35 to be the least. It's 75.5 to be the least middle. But there's definitely a high zone there.
Oh yeah.
God knows who.
I hate when I climb up these platforms because they turn into squids and then they start to lick my feet.
You know, licking the toe jam right between the toes is like, hey, this may taste delicious, but it's healthy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's good for you, but hey, it's delicious. But is that bad?
It could be.
Because you breathe through your toes and you're like, hey, I gotta take in all this sweet water. Gotta take it right into my lungs through my toe tubes.
Oh, little white.
Oh, it's white. I like that.
Nice.
It reminds me of the Institute.
That reminds me of when I survived out of Mr. Minglord's cage by
were
breathing out my toes.
I thought we all breathe out our toes. Because when Space Jam was born, he was like, hey, breathing toes cool, breathing mouth not. And he's like, hey. And he just like fucking shoved us full of glue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we have to breathe through our toes.
One time I breathed through, so I couldn't breathe, but my butt was compressing. So I just stabbed a hole onto my butt cheek, and I started breathing again.
You know a very good way to breathe through your booty?
Stab it with a broom.
You just want to dig a hole to your lungs and just put a pipe straight to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real good for you.
I'm going over here.
What are we playing? Are you in hell,
What?
by the
Oh,
way?
am I playing a game?
Hell seems to be rather demonless, I'd say.
Oops.
I always get that folly tummy feely when people jump into the abyss. And I'm like, hey, toe jam.
Enduro.
It's kind of like, you know what? You've ridden a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
When you go up and you take that drop, it feels like that in my tummy. Whenever I jump off of a high space.
Isn't
video
that the game that spins when you say, oh, oh?
More like when you say, ooh, ah, ah. You gotta say it in that exact way or it doesn't do a damn thing.
Yeah.
And like 99.99% of the people are like, hey, this game bogey, it don't work. I went, ooh, ah. They didn't go, ooh, ha, ha. But both those are wrong.
I thought it didn't bogey, but I did think it boogied.
It boogie if you know how to hoo ha ha. And you're like,
Yeah.
hey, you can finally get past the first mission, it's fun. But the second mission, it's like, hey, stick up the butt.
I love that. Oh, that game is awesome. Except I couldn't get to it because I always boogied instead of bogeyed.
You know, I figured that boogie game, Boogie Bogey, that game is more of a book than a video game. It's like, hey,
It really is.
this isn't a screen, this is paper. And like, why are these words moving into my brain? And I'm like, hey, I'm scared and my eyes are bleeding.
You know, I didn't realize that till now. It is like a book. It has
It is like a book.
chapters. It has.
It has writhing worms, like every good book.
Yeah, and then it
Yeah.
touches you,
Yeah.
but in like weird ways.
Yeah,
that
it's
you
got
don't-
this weird, like, seventh dimensional tentacles app. It's like, hey, I know you don't understand this imagery, but like, it's gonna hurt you. And it went boom, boom, and you're like, hey, that don't hurt. That reminds me that one year when I was a child during Christmas when everything was all right and the snow was falling just right, and then I got like 10 million presents under the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
That was a real memory. It's nice. You just go way back, all the way back to your childhood, and you're like, hey, helicopters weren't real. They're a myth. You can't fly in the air. You're too heavy. You damn bastards.
Okay, Daddy.
You can only fly with a paper bag and a rope around your neck. That's what I figured. I did it.
Do I do this? Ah. Don't attack me. Oh my god, it's the cacodemons! It's the meatball bags.
He's a big meatball.
And he did.
Oh, damn. You take his eye out and he just fucking bursts.
Yeah. He's like, I can't live without it. Another one.
It's like popping a balloon if you touch its eye. Like,
I think I blew myself up.
boop his eye. I want to see a demon wear that helmet.
I want to see a cacodemon with the helmet. Big helmet and it's just floating in the sky.
Instead of a demon with a head, it should have an eye for a head and be like, hey, there's a big eye in there.
It should have a head for an eye.
What about toes for an eye? Like a single eye made out of single toes, but there's like 15 toes that are a single toe. Get my drift.
When strawberries are involved, the blue is
Often greasy,
68.
unusual, and sickly 6.
It is 68, which is
Oh, it is 68.
the amount of times I farted inside of a tube that led messages to kill.
Kilimanjaro's too. Yeah.
Yeah. I sliced him in half, which changed his corpses.
I think of Corpses more as a brand than a logo.
Yeah. It really consumes the consumer.
Well, I'd say the consumer consumes the consumption, but you get consumed by the brandy before.
Yeah. Ooh, rocket.
No, I think that's a raccoon.
Oh, it is. You're right.
It's got those furry little earmuffs that a cat has.
How have I not buttered
raccoon.
that till now?
I don't know. Butter is often rare to come by.
I've went off my life without killing myself to butter it.
You gotta butter your biscuits in your own writhing blood while you watch yourself die, but you're also not in your own body. You're like, hey, I like transfigured this stone mouse to be a body, and I'm like, hey, I can drink my own blood and be like, hey, I'm not gonna die. I'm Mouse Stone Real Boy, and I'm Pinocchio'd myself into existence. I want to be a real boy.
I love Pinocchio. When well, not he. I meant she. Puts on
She
that.
is also a rat that's an it that doesn't really have genitals, but
Oh,
it
yeah,
has
it's
like
an
a
it.
little tentacle swirl down there.
When it puts on those red shoes, it then puts on the blue shoes, and then
I think blue is a fake color because I've never seen it and it's overrated.
yeah.
I prefer Zurple. It's my favorite color.
Zurple.
Yeah, it's like the tingy, like between yellow, blue, and red. It's like between all of those.
Oh, dude, I totally get your gift.
But it doesn't look like any of those.
Gift. Drift.
Same thing.
I get your rift. In
You
space
should
and
open a
time.
rift.
I'm trying to, but these demons won't want to hump me. Hump me, demon.
If
hump
they
me.
do, I'm sure you'll have a lovely evening drinking tea with your family.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
drinking tea with my family.
That's all this game reminds me of is drinking that sweet red bloody tea that somehow tastes like my left pinky. I'm like, hey, they got the juice. It's okay. I don't know how they got it, but it's good. I could slurp it up my ears and like, hey, chill.
Yeah.
Family's bogey boys.
Yeah, it's all a science.
They're all
experiment.
just me as other people. I'm like, hey, let me go back. I dress up as my mother, dad, brother. And they're like, hey, where'd sister you go? And I'm like, hey, I gotta go. Then I dress back up as sister me. And I'm like, woo, I'm a people.
I love that story.
I know, it's my favorite book. But I think it's more of an iPad journey.
Yeah. When you use it on your iPad, you really see. I'm going wrong.
iPads are too bony for my taste. I prefer Android.
Who's that?
They're more of a slurpy cowboy. Not so dirty, but rather clean. I don't like it. But it's a
Yeah.
good device to watch things on when you watch your words come to life in your book.
It's so surreal.
I'd say it's too real. Gotta get this
I think my face is buttered by your words.
I think it's more plastered to a brick wall.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I don't know how I got here, but like I morphed into this jugular wall and it's like bleeding full of pipe.
Full of pipe.
Just blood pipe, $9.99 on sale today at noon. Type down, hey, I want blood pipe in me, and you'll get blood pipe in you if you dream right after this,
Yeah.
and you'll be happy.
Go to sleepies.
Yeah, for us, it's like 113 a.m. That's how you read.
Who's that?
I think it's Jeffrey Dahmer's third cousin, 15th.
I thought it was his 34th daughter.
I think he ate his 34th daughter.
Oh.
He was like, I'm going to devour the souls of the many, the innocent and the damned. And then he's like, meow.
You know, I met his 17th daughter.
Really?
Yeah. She was at a booth.
Was she full of teeth?
She was wearing green, but the green was like moving.
I would say that the green wasn't moving, rather writhing in fear of my sheer teeth.
It really was. As soon as I looked at his shirt, it looked back at me and snarled.
I
was
know,
like,
it's so weird, isn't it? And the skin seems to grow and decease, and it's like, hey, my skin is dying, but it grows right back in place without falling off.
It totally was like it.
Yeah. And Itchy Her, the 17th cousin of Jeffrey Dahmer, has like 15,000 teeth in her stomach. And I'm confused.
Doesn't the 13th daughter have diabetes? Or something?
7th degree.
Oh, that's...
The diabetes eats away at your lungs and you're like,
that's
hey,
happy.
I'm dying.
That's happy. I feel happy for
I would also feel happy if my lungs were being devoured by the gates of chaos. That chonker got dead.
Did he?
This is some nice music. You down with the game?
Who? I don't know where
I
I'm at.
already feel like you're getting towards the end.
Oh.
Ugh.
Oh my god, I gotta heal.
Lau Heal. Is that like Heath Ledger? Who was a great Batman?
That's the Heath bar.
Oh! The one full of cocaine.
No, it's the one that crunches but looks like golden bars.
I think of it more of a poopy sack that's also brown. Brown and yellow.